In this week's Parsha, in Chutz La'aretz, Parshas Bamidbar, it's the Shabbos right before Shavuos Kabbalas HaTorah, and it's called Parshas Bamidbar. In the secular Chumashim, they call Sefer Bamidbar the Chumash of Numbers, because as we know that twice in Sefer Bamidbar we count Klal Yisrael, in Parshas Bamidbar and Parshas Pinchos. It's called Numbers, and that's partly right. It's half the story though. That in the Pasuk, when we're counting Klal Yisrael, it doesn't only say numbers, it says B'mispar Shemos. The mispar is a number, but also by name. B'mispar Shemos. Now, these two concepts are very different. A number, a mispar, is part of a whole. Sfiras HaOmer, when you're counting days which are part of weeks, which are part of the whole Sfiras HaOmer. A sefer, a sipur, there's certain parts and happenings, small happenings that happen together that bring a whole story. That's a sefer. Or give one message. That's what sefer and sfira are about, counting parts of a whole that puts everything together, one message. The importance of a number is that it's part of a whole. And if it's missing, you might be missing what you want to come out with. But on the other hand, each number on its own is not necessarily intrinsically important on its own. Like for instance, bricks of a building. Every brick you need or else the building falls down. But every brick on its own is not different than any other brick. They're all the same bricks. On the other hand, Shemos, a name, connotates the essence of the thing. It's someone special. It's your name. It's who you are. And you're different than the next person. Shemos. So when we say in the parasha, B'mispar Shemos, we're saying there's two things over here. That a Yid is mispar, he's part of a whole, he's part of Klal Yisrael. But he's not a brick, chas v'shalom. Each person has their own special tchunos, their own special characteristics, and their own special job. And pekudo, that Kadosh Baruch Hu wants, and the gilik for Shemayim from that person. That's b'mispar Shemos. So when we call it numbers, it's only half the story. It's numbers and Shemos. By Matan Torah, there's two psukim. In Parshas Yisro, the pasuk says, "Vayanu kol ha'am yachtov, vayomru kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh." In Parshas Mishpatim, everyone knows the famous pasuk, "Vayomru kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma." So the Meshech Chochmah explains that when it comes to ma'aseh mitzvahs, when it comes to doing the mitzvahs, there's some mitzvahs which can't be done. There's no one person in Klal Yisrael who could do all of the mitzvahs. Some mitzvahs are for Kohanim, some are for Levim only, some are for the Melech. There's no specific mitzvah which is for that any one person could do all of them. On the other hand, we could be mekayim the mitzvahs, the ones that we can't do, by learning them. So the Meshech Chochmah explains like this. The first pasuk in Yisro says, "Vayanu kol ha'am yachtov." All of Klal Yisrael said together, "Vayomru kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh." We're going to do the mitzvahs together. We're going to be mekayim all the Torah together, all of us together. And in Parshas Mishpatim, it just said, "Vayomru kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma." Whatever we learn, we're going to do, and the rest we're going to learn and understand, and we're mekayim it through learning. So I think it's coming to tell us that by Kabbalas HaTorah, there's really two parts of Kabbalas HaTorah. That each and every Yid is mekabel the Torah on their own, all the Torah, na'aseh v'nishma. But of course, we're only mekabel the Torah as part of Klal Yisrael, as all of us together. And those are the two halakim of Kabbalas HaTorah. They say a mashal, a famous mashal, that there was once a virtuoso, a violinist, who was obviously very talented, and he was listening to a musical piece on the radio. And he got very frustrated, and he couldn't listen to it anymore. He walked out. So someone asked him, what was missing? It was a beautiful piece. He said, no, because in that piece, it really needs 14 violins, and they're missing the last one. They're missing one of the violins. And the whole thing is missing the tom. Now, Kadosh Baruch Hu, he wants us to hear, he wants us, Klal Yisrael, to sing the song of the Torah. All of us together, each one has a certain job, a specific job, and a special ava to each one of us like a son. And therefore, every single one of us together are singing the song together. If any one is missing, it's just not the same song to the Father. So B'ez Hashem, we should offer Zeicha to Mekabel both chalakim of Kabbalas HaTorah. The Kabbalas HaTorah of each and every one of us as a yachid, our chelik in Torah, and Kabbalas HaTorah of each and one of us all together. Gans Klal Yisrael. Mir Hashem, we shall celebrate in Yerushalayim. Amen.